Good morning, dear students. Now we are starting last chapter of your classical mechanics course, which is chapter number 5. Title of that chapter is Canonical Transformations and Poisson's Bracket. So until now, whatever you studied in classical mechanics, this chapter is quite advanced compared to previous chapter and slightly different. The base of this chapter is not, uh, as you can say, is not well prepared in this syllabus, in your syllabus, because to understand this chapter you need to go through very advanced concept of classical mechanics, that variational principles, okay, and some we can say theory, variational principle theory, and all those you need to understand quite, I can say, you need to understand very deeply. That after that you can go through this, go for this canonical transformation and Poisson's bracket chapter. But I'm going to, I can say, liberate or try to teach you this chapter with more simple concepts that you can understand easily. Okay, so in this chapter, first of all, we are going to study definition of canonical transformations. So canonical transformations. So canonical transformations are generally used to change basis. So like in previous chapter we have studied Lagrangian and Hamiltonian. So we know that Lagrangian is function of Qj, Qj dot and time. So we obtain Hamiltonian from Lagrangian, and Hamiltonian is function of Qj, Pj and time. So here basis of Lagrangian is this and basis of Hamiltonian is this. So we have changed basis from old coordinate to new coordinates. So one coordinate we kept as it is, so Qj, and we changed one coordinate which is Qj dot into Pj. So that coordinate is transformed in new coordinate system. Time remains as it is. So basically that is performed by using legendary transformations, okay, in mathematics. So we had used legendary transformations for this, okay, to change basis. Now corresponding Hamiltonian with respect to Lagrangian is, we know that summation over j qj dot pj minus l, okay, and Hamilton's equations are, what are those? Qj dot is da by h by da by pj, and pj dot is minus da by h by da by qj. So qj dot is da by h by da by pj, and pj dot is minus da by h by da by qj. So these are the two transformation equations to get legendary transformations. Now here, for this canonical transformation, if this is a canonical transformation from Lagrangian to Hamiltonian, now we are moving to new coordinate system. Okay, so there we are changing braces from old coordinate q and p to new coordinates which are capital Q and P. See, so this is for Hamiltonian. So we have changed basis from Lagrangian to Hamiltonian. Now we are changing basis from Hamiltonian to new function. We are calling that function as Hamiltonian K, and that function is having basis as capital Q, capital P, and time. These are the three variables which are corresponding. These are the three bases of Hamiltonian. Now here we are changing basis from QP to capital QP, and this transformation is canonical by using k is equal to now summation over I, we can say I, and here we have capital Qi dot into capital Pi minus L dash. Okay, so L dash is the Lagrangian in old coordinate system, and equations, corresponding transformation equations are, from this equation we can write capital Qi dot, okay, is equal to partial derivative of k with respect to pi, capital Pi, and pi dot is partial derivative of k, okay, with respect to capital Qi, and L dash satisfies variation of integration L dash dt is equal to 0. So this is the variational principle. Okay, so L dash must satisfy variational principle and legendary transformation. So this transformation is again legendary transformation. If this condition is satisfied, or we can say this is a canonical transformation. So how we will make definition of canonical transformation? A transformation from the basis QP, which are old coordinates, to the basis capital QP, which are new coordinates, is canonical if Hamiltonian k is equal to summation over I. This with equations, with transformation equations, are capital Qi dot is equal to this, capital Pi dot is equal to this, and L dash satisfies the variational principle condition or legendary transformation, which is variation delta, means variation of integration L dash dt is equal to 0. So you have all the chapter which is dedicated to this variational principle. So in this syllabus, we are not going to, in your syllabus, that chapter is not included. That's why I told you earlier, this is quite difficult for you to understand. Okay, so variational of integration L dash dt is equal to 0. Now, condition for canonical transformation. So, condition for canonical transformation, when we are changing basis from old coordinate system, which are q, p, and time, to new coordinate system, which is capital Q, capital P, and capital T. Okay, so sorry, time t, not capital T, is canonical transformation. From old to new is canonical if summation over I, okay, p, here summation over k, pk into dqk, here pk is this variable, dqk is the differentiation of q, which is new variable, minus pk into dqk, so these are the old coordinate, which is equal to d gamma, so this is capital gamma, and if d gamma is exact differential, then then transformation is canonical. Okay, so this is the another condition for canonical transformation. So this d gamma must be exact differential. So you already know what is mean by exact differential. Okay, condition for exact differential you already studied. So this is the condition for canonical transformation. Now we are moving to next point of this chapter, which is Poisson's bracket. So Poisson's bracket is defined as for two dynamical variables. We can say we can say those Poisson's bracket are for two dynamical variables. Suppose those two dynamical variables are u and v, and these two dynamical variables are functions of qp. Okay, and this is the mathematical relation between these two uh, dynamical variables in classical mechanics. So definition of Poisson's bracket. So Poisson's bracket is denoted by this symbol UV. Okay. Here we have index small q and p. So what is the definition of Poisson's bracket now? So this is equal to summation over I partial derivative of u with respect to qi partial derivative of v with respect to pi minus partial derivative of u with respect to pi and partial derivative of v with respect to qi. Okay, in another words, this is partial derivative of uv with respect to qi pi. So in this way you can also define Poisson's bracket. Okay, so this is the definition of Poisson's bracket. See, Poisson's bracket is defined for two dynamical variables in classical mechanics with the basis q and p. So this is defined as Poisson's bracket of u and v is equal to summation over I partial derivative of u with respect to qi partial derivative of v with respect to pi minus partial derivative of v with u with respect to pi into partial derivative of u with respect to qi. Now, next, properties of Poisson's bracket. So, first property of Poisson's bracket is Poisson's bracket of u v is equal to minus Poisson's bracket of v and u. If you change order of these two variables, then sign of Poisson's bracket is reversed. So, proof of this property. See, Poisson's bracket of uv is by definition summation over I partial derivative of u with respect to qi partial derivative of v with respect to pi minus partial derivative of u with respect to pi partial derivative of v with respect to qi. Okay, now this is equal to summation over I. If you take this term before and this term after, so this is nothing but negative. Okay, if you take negative sign common, so this is equal to minus partial derivative of v with respect to qi partial derivative of u with respect to pi. Okay, minus partial derivative of u with respect to qi and partial derivative of v with respect to pi. Now this is equal to minus, this is nothing but Poisson's bracket of vu. See, definition of Poisson's bracket of uv is what? First of all, partial derivative of u with respect to qi, and second, partial derivative of v with respect to pi. But here, u with respect to qi and v with respect to pi. So these two terms are altered, but denominator remains same, qi and pi. That's why by definition of Poisson's bracket, this is Poisson's bracket of minus v and u. Now next property of Poisson's bracket, which is property number 2. Poisson's bracket of u with itself is 0. Suppose we have taken two dynamical variables and we are taking Poisson's bracket of two identical dynamical variables uu or vv. So proof of this. So from definition, Poisson's bracket of this is summation over I partial derivative of u with respect to qi again partial derivative of u with respect to pi minus partial derivative of u with respect to pi and partial derivative of u with respect to qi. See, this term is here and this term is here. If you we only change order, but partial derivative of u with respect to qi and partial derivative of u with respect to qi are same. Okay, so that's why this is equal to 0. Next property of Poisson's bracket is property number 3. If c is constant, then Poisson's bracket of CUV is Poisson's bracket of U into CV and Poisson's bracket of C into UV. So C is constant. That constant is multiplied to first term or second term, or you can take that term common from that Poisson's bracket. So proof. So on the left hand side we have Poisson's bracket of C, U and V. So by definition of Poisson's bracket, that is equal to summation over I partial derivative of, now here we have C into U and here we have V. Here you have partial derivative of C into U and here you have V. Now this is equal to, since this C is a constant, so derivative of C with respect to Qi is, if you take derivative of this term with respect to Qi, so that is nothing but C into partial derivative of u into qi. Similarly here c into this term. Now you can take this term in this bracket also. So that is equal to now summation over I partial derivative of u with respect to qi. If you take this c over here, so partial derivative of c into v, okay, with respect to pi. Why we can take this term over here? Because again if you take partial derivative of this with respect to pi, then c is again constant, so you can take c over here also, minus similarly you can take this constant term over here, partial derivative of u with respect to pi and partial derivative of c into v with qi. Okay, now this is equal to, from definition this is nothing but Poisson's bracket of u and next term is c into v. Or you can write this term as if you have taken this c over here and over here as it is, and if you have taken that c common from this bracket and this bracket, so that is nothing but c into uv. Okay, so with this property number 3 is proved. Now property number 4. Again, if C is constant, then Poisson's bracket of C and U is 0. So Poisson's bracket of C and U is 0. Here C is constant term and U is the term which included in Poisson's bracket. Okay. Now for that, from definition, Poisson's bracket of C and U is equal to summation over I. Again, from definition, partial derivative of C with respect to Qi, partial derivative of V with respect to Pi, minus partial derivative of C with respect to Pi and partial derivative of U with respect to Qi. Okay, we have C and U over here. See, now if we take partial derivative of constant with respect to Qi and if we take partial derivative of C with respect to Pi, so derivative of this term with respect to Qi is 0. Remember, derivative of constant with respect to anything is 0. Similarly, derivative of this C which is constant with respect to pi is again 0. So that's why we will get on the right hand side 0. Okay. uh, I think here we should stop our lecture. Okay, and in next lecture we will see remaining properties of Poisson's bracket. Okay, thank you.